All right, guys. Today I want to talk to you about a post I put on Twitter yesterday. It was pretty innocent. I answered a young man's question in reference to a previous tweet I had put out where I had said eating poorly is simply a matter of shopping poorly. And the gentleman came back and said, well, hey, what do you do if you're poor? My response back to him was, poor is a mentality, right? Poor is a mentality. It's a frame of mind. It's a temporary state of being. There's certain environmental external factors that will contribute to the feeling of being poor. But that's all it is. It's a feeling. So if you think poorly, if you act poorly, you will live poorly. Does that make sense? Now, if you think with abundance, you act to attain abundance, you will eventually create abundance, specifically relative to where you had started. And I further answered this young man, poor is a mentality. You must tirelessly work to reduce excess in your life and tirelessly work to increase abundance. What does that mean? That means those who are afflicted with the mentality of, quote, being poor need to get that out of their mind first and foremost. The next thing they need to do is start to focus on reducing anything that's in excess, anything that they don't absolutely necessarily need to live, right? You don't need an iPhone 7. You might not even need a cell phone at all, truly. I grew up in a time where every house had one telephone. I grew up at a time where no homes had computers. Computers weren't even in homes until I was out of high school. I did all right. Now, mind you, ladies and gentlemen, I grew up in extreme poverty. Extreme poverty. There was no heat in my home for many years. There was no running water in my home for many years. There was no electricity in my home for many years. Oftentimes, there was no guarantee of where the next meal would be. Well, that's why I feel I am quite capable of telling you being poor is a mentality. I never, ever, ever thought of myself as poor. Ever. I worked. I looked to create abundance. At 8 years old, I started working. For $3 a day, I would go and I would scrub these massive charter fishing boats. I lived in a small coastal community and we had a fishing industry. 8 years, 9 years, 10 years old. I would go down after school when the boats all came in and I would wait and ask to clean the boat, to take out the trash, to scrub the toilets, to swab the deck. And I would make $2 or $3 a day doing that. 5 days a week, that's $15. I would do it twice on Saturday, twice on Sunday. They have half day and full day trips. That's another $6, $12 on top of the $15, $27 a week I was making at 8 years, 9 years, 10 years old. And slowly I made my way up. Poor was never a mentality for me. I started to earn. I started to make my own way. I started to buy the things that I wanted, that I needed. When I was 12 years old, I joined a gym. It was $99 a month and I paid for it out of my own pocket. The family didn't have the cash, the expendable cash to spend to go to a gym, a fitness gym. We're trying to keep lights on in the house. Being poor is a mentality. Now, being in poverty It's a temporary condition. You can look around your house right now and not have the things that you wish you had. Now, mind you, if you hear this and you're in the United States, if you're in London, if you're in Sydney, Australia, if you're in Montreal, Canada, and if you feel that you're in poverty, you are still amongst the wealthiest in the world. So it's all relative, right? Look over in Africa. Look into the Sudan. If you want to talk about being poor and being in poverty. So, and I felt the need to have this conversation with you because there were a few comments. One young lady said this is the most disgusting thing she's read all day, and I should be ashamed of myself. I'm sorry, miss. I'm very proud of myself, actually, because I came from a place much darker than you. And I didn't use the snowflake mentality. I didn't use the entitlement mentality. I didn't use the poor, woe is me mentality. I worked. I eliminated excess in my life, and I found ways to create abundance my entire life. And I still continue to do so today. So I don't use excuses. I don't look for government regulation to improve my life. I don't look for handouts. I don't look for donations. I don't ask for anything. I work. I create products and services to better the community with which I receive some sort of consideration in return. That's how this works. So if you're walking around right now and you don't have enough money in your pocket, you think you're poor, you feel you're poor. Do you have a car? You're not poor. You have electricity? You're not poor. Do you have TV in your house? You're not poor. Do you have a cell phone? You're not poor. Did you eat today? Did you eat in the last 24 hours? You're not poor. Stop acting poor. Stop thinking poor. Stop pretending you're poor. Stop living in the prison of being poor. And start doing something about it. Start living rich. Start living with abundance. Start creating abundance for yourself. Look around at your Nike shoes. Look at your gym membership. You don't need a gym membership. All right? There's a whole planet out here that you can use. There's parks, there's jungle gyms, there's stairs, there's body weight conditioning, there's trees, right? There's nature. You don't need a gym membership, $10, $20, $40, $100 a month. You don't need any of that. You don't need protein powders. You don't need BCAAs. You don't need any of that. You can go down to the local library. You can use their Wi-Fi. You can use their computer systems, right? Eliminate excess, create abundance. That's what this is about. So hopefully those of you listening, and I know that the audience listening, you're not poor. So don't act poor. Don't think poor. Don't be poor. Think with abundance. Every single person who hears this, every person who watches this can be wealthy beyond your imagination, far beyond your imagination, and much, 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 much more than you are right now. That's what this is about. So what are you going to do about it? Are you going to sit back and wait for entitlements to come your way? Are you going to wait for the government to improve your life? Because guess what? They won't. They can't. They've gotten this country $20 trillion in debt. You think they know what they're doing? They don't. So don't rely on anybody else. Only rely on yourself. Get your ass out there and work. Stop complaining. Stop complaining. Are you working 2 jobs? Are you working 3 jobs? Are you educated? Do you have certifications? Do you have credentials? Do you have anything? Have you done anything for yourself to put yourself in a better position? Some of you have. Hopefully most of you have. But if you think you are poor, you're always going to stay poor. If you think that you're currently living in conditions that are not where you want to be and you will tirelessly work to improve those conditions, you will improve those conditions. That was the point of my tweet yesterday. Sorry to piss so many off, but sorry, not sorry. My statement as this video was made with compassion. I want to help you, and I am helping you. And I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you how it is. I'm going to tell you the facts. I'm not going to coddle you and pretend. I will walk with you. I will walk this journey with you every step of the way. We will give you the education that you need. We will give you the inspiration that you need. But you must do it. You must get out of bed. You must go to work. You must find better ways. You must cut your spending. Your silly, silly spending. And that's really where most of the problems arise, in your lack of control with your finances, with the few dollars that you may have. You don't put those to appropriate use. That's one of the biggest issues with those who are quote, deemed poor. And we deal with them every day here. We run a nonprofit organization dedicated to eradicating childhood obesity and eating disorders. So we get embedded deep into lower socioeconomic communities. And the worst thing in these communities is education and mentality. They're waiting for someone to come in and save them. They're waiting for Obama to save them. And now we got Trump. They're waiting for the government to come in and save them. And guess what? The country's gotten poorer. The lower class has gotten more poor since Obama took office, and now Trump's in office. It's not going to get better. Because the government don't care about you. They don't care about you. They don't care about you. They care about their corporate buddies. They care about their lobby money. They care about the next election. They don't care about you. So what are you going to do about it? You're going to get out there? You're going to work? Are you going to make it? Are you going to build your dream? Are you going to buy the house that you've always wanted, drive the car you've always wanted, live the life you've always wanted, provide for the people you care about in a way that you've always wanted? Or are you just going to complain and throw shade on social media and then hide away in your little life on your cell phone that you pay how much dollars per month while claiming to be poor, while watching the Kardashians on your television, while claiming to be poor, while eating Doritos and soda and this disgusting, synthetic food-like substances instead of fueling your body with real food. That is actually less expensive if you really do the research. Go on Amazon, go to Price Clubs. You can buy a 10-pound bag of rice, of organic rice, for $15 at the Price Club. That'll last your family 6 months. I mean, you could do it that way, or you could just sit there and complain. Really, it's up to you. So I'm sure we're going to get mixed reviews, and that's fine, because I'm telling you guys the truth. Thumbs up, thumbs down, give me one or the other, but leave a comment below, and let's hear what you think about this. Am I saying anything here that's wrong? Now remember, I grew up in poverty, more poor than you, I guarantee it. I have yet to meet a single person who grew up in a worse state. Maybe as bad. I've had some, some sweet people with some really tough stories. But I haven't heard any that are rougher. Single family, 4 kids, single mom at home, 4 kids, dad dead, what? No money, mom got no job, dad ripped out of the house, home foreclosed on, cars repoed, what? Lights off, gas off, water off. What? I'm not poor now. I never thought I was poor. I never acted poor. I never asked for anything other than the opportunity to work. I showed up with my gloves and my boots on. I'm here to work. I'm here to work. One of my jobs at 12 years old. How about this? How about this? Lazy motherfuckers. One of my jobs at 12 years old for an entire summer was loading a Mack truck with recyclables that people would throw into dumpsters. So I would stand outside, I would jump into dumpsters, real story, and I would tie up newspapers into bundles, organize them, put them together, time in the bundles, time in the bundles, time in the bundles, time in the bundles, get them tied up in the bundles, and I would throw them up into the truck. Hundreds of bundles, hundreds, probably thousands of bundles per day. into a Big Mac truck. Then I would have to climb up to the truck, drag them all the way to the front of the truck, and then stack them. And I got this finally, because I did it so long, I would stack them in a stair setting, because you can't stack all the way to the top, but I could slowly use geometric shapes, and I could slowly build these stairs so I could stack them to the top. And I would get paid based upon the truck full. That's at 12 years old. I never complained. I was thankful. I was grateful. That same work ethic I use today in everything that I do, in the 3 businesses that I now run. I use that same work ethic, right? I am happy to stack those bundles. I am happy to dive into that dumpster. I am happy to provide a life for my family that I never had lived myself. The life that I always wanted to live, I'm now capable to live because I work my fucking ass off, not because I throw hate on social media, not because I look for entitlements, not because I say, woe is me, poor me, poor me. Nope, not poor me, rich me. That was the thought process from day one. I never, ever, ever had a poor mentality, nor should you. And if anybody tells you that that's okay, get them out of your life immediately. You should expect more from yourself. You must expect more from yourself. Not a day goes by that you shouldn't challenge yourself and push yourself and pursue yourself and create more this day than you did yesterday. Otherwise, what's the point? What are you doing? I hope this helps, ladies and gentlemen. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do. I would certainly appreciate that. Also, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you hate me and hate what I'm saying. Probably won't subscribe to the channel, but that's okay. At least I'll know how you feel. But definitely leave a comment below and let's engage in conversation about this. I want to hear what you guys think. I want to hear a little bit about your own life journey, your own life path. And until next time, we will talk soon.